graduate students in Cornell, PhD, all areas of interest with them, doctors, lawyers, and your chiefs. Sat them down in this room. Listen to this presentation, and then ask them, what did you hear? What did you learn? What did you learn from the people? And what did you learn from the answers that were given them? The answers that were given are things like, well, we're working on it. We'll get this. This is in its infant stages, et cetera, et cetera. No, that I can recall anything. I'm sure you have all this on paper. I'd love to get it. No sound answers to any of these good people's questions. None. And so, and as the time progresses, you know, we're going to wake up one morning, as I was about to say, have boss lady here. We're going to wake up one morning, and there will be this big goddamn thing down there, and people will say, where did that come from? True. And so, as long as these meetings are dealing with not necessarily planned obfuscation, but what comes out of here is, unless I'm dumber than I think I come out of here thinking, God damn it, Patrick, you're dumber than you think you are. Because I don't understand any of these. Not only do I not understand it now, I didn't understand it 2 presentations before, which were the same. And I certainly don't understand it.
Is there a specific...
And I certainly don't understand it when you're able to translate this to what you guys are doing. Try the English language, one. Have some real people who have been involved in things like this. Not to say, well, I was thinking of that and thinking of this.
I'm happy to answer any specific question you have. I'm sorry that we haven't been clear enough, but I'm happy to answer anything now.
Andrew,
that's what we're here for.
Andrew, let me, if I could just
go ahead.
quickly. This is a lot of information, and I was saying to you before, we jammed a ton of information into a very short period of time, and for that I apologize, and we want to do everything we can so that people truly understand what we're trying to say. That's point number 1. Point number 2 is I can't commit to all this having the answers. I think I started off tonight by saying we don't have all the answers yet. What I will commit to each and every one of you is transparency and a complete openness to listen. We heard all the comments tonight. We heard them before. We're moving as quickly as we can, and we're not going to lie to you. If we don't have the answers yet, we're going to say we don't have the answers yet. That's all we can do. But we will keep coming back to you as often as you would like and tell you where we are. And we're going to do that in the next 2 months many, many, many times. And so your points are extremely well taken. Please bear with us. We'll do our very best to communicate in whatever channels work for people. Through the wire, through forums like this, whatever. So give us feedback on that.
Right, so what the other thing to follow up is what I'm going to ask board members is if there are questions or issues, we'll submit it through our office, and then we're going to forward that.
That would be great.
But everything we do has to be public, right? So that anything we ask is public, any response is public, but we want to use that as a mechanism to flesh out something, because you may get some information or whatever, and then as we get that, we can put that in our minutes and on the website, and then we can review them at the meetings that we have that are subsequent to this. Yes, Ellen.
I just want to say one thing. I just want to put it out there that we really appreciate your willingness to listen, and that willingness to listen needs to translate into action and listening to what we're saying, and then giving us the answers that we need to hear and the actual actions that we need to hear.
The answers and the action may not be what you want to hear.
Well, it may not be what we want to hear, but then we have something that
We owe you answers.
Yeah, that's what you said.
We get to the end of this process and not have the answers that we need to be able to give you a well thought out answer.
Yeah, the committee is going to have to make a recommendation too. So what's important is that this deadline is a real deadline in our view, because the 26th we're going to be formulating a resolution to recommend to the full board on the land use meeting. So if we can get some information there, that's helpful to us as well in terms of what we recommend. No, just a second. This gentleman has his hand up, and then I'll go back to you, Melanie. Yes.
In some areas, the environmental
Your name is
Party Adasco from EDC.
Okay.
In some areas, the environmental worst case scenario, in an area of transparency, and so that you have an understanding of how bad it could be if there are not evolution to areas that are better. So there's a full disclosure of really the worst case in some areas, in the construction area, as we work on trying to find better solutions over the next 25 years. So that the worst case disclosures, and that's part of the transparency of the process.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so
Just
Lee.
quickly,
Yeah.
really quick. Somebody has said when we talk about the dates of the meeting, about the community board giving authorization. We don't, I guess most of the people here now, the board people, they're not the residents, but we don't give authorization. We can vote yes or no, but it's not authorization. I don't want them to think that we have the authority to turn it down or to approve it.
No, I said our
I
power
know
is
you
advisory.
did, but somebody, after you said that, somebody still said that.
Look, folks, the one thing I'll also ask your patience with is just remind you when this process started. And it was only 10 months ago, and I understand these are critically important issues, but this is a significant project, and we are working very diligently and very hard. We introduced you to a great team who is working around the clock on it. We will get you answers. Just bear with us.
That's why I said that the board house really some of the other developers are coming to us.
Well,
Okay, got Patrick and then go back to Jeffrey. Patrick, do you have something?
Oh, when we have our meetings, what are we going to meet about? We don't have any information.
I'm saying we have a follow-up meeting in November, and then we're going to have a land use
But
meeting.
what are we going to do?
Well, that's the point. That's what I'm saying, Patrick. That's what I said, is that this committee is going to have to make a determination on, and a recommendation based on what we hear. So the more information that we have, the better able we're going to be able to make it.
Okay.
I mean, Patrick, if we have no information, then we're going to have to respond in time, right? So that we'll have to base a response based on what we have. Yeah, Jeffrey and then Larry.
So I guess substantively speaking, the one area of concern on the island also has to do with impacting traffic and transportation. Now, I know you discussed it and touched upon it in your presentation, but in reading the draft EIS, some of the, I think the flawed viewpoint in the study is that it doesn't take into, well, it does try to take into consideration, but there are some realities of dealing with the spinal nature of the main street, in which there, in your EIS study and requirements, you have to look at basing it on intersection traffic. But the problem that we have here on the island is that basically we're an island free of basic intersections with the exception of one or two. The EIS, of course, looks at those one or two that are identified. But I would strongly recommend, that when you do your follow-ups and continue on your studies, that aspect of it, especially work hours, because there are two schools, located on that way. There are pickups and drop-offs located on Main Street Avenue that already impact as it is the red bus, CQ 102, all the structures. Those type of impacts are not necessarily identified in your draft EIS, other than saying it may be impacted or will be impacted. Right? If we're going towards answers, we should look at it maybe.
Right, Larry.
That's helpful.
Larry?
Just to further, there's two things I did you're going to have to do a final EIS, and any questions or comments that come during the EIS review process, you're going to have to answer in your EIS. So then, the sooner the better. And I just want to, for the board members, as Melanie pointed out, the key controlling factor here is the zoning text. The pictures are great, and we know that's what you intend to do, but that's not what the process that they're going through is going to bind them to. What they're going to be bound to is the rules of the zoning text, which allows for flexibility. So it's very important to read that text and see where you think maybe it's too flexible, not flexible enough, not required enough. There's been some I'm making a hypothetical example. He pointed out where the public open space would be consistent with the open space requirements of the waterfront zoning text. If people feel that that's not enough, we can petition, we can recommend to the city planning that those hours be changed. If we think it's not enough parking or it's too much parking, we can recommend to the city planning commission that those portions of text be changed. So read the text as well as the EIS. The EIS will give you the impacts. The text is going to give you an idea about what parameters of the project.
And I'm just gonna, Larry, if you can help us a little bit with that and frame some of that as you see it, if you go through it.
Sure.
Just send that in an email. Jeffrey, if you have some thoughts as you're going through this, highlight some of the key components of this that we should be focusing on and put that in an email. And then we'll, as I said, all our emails will be public. The information we get will be public on this. But I would like to get some help with that so the committee can get a sense of really what direction we want to go in this thing and how we want to look at, yes.
Sorry, Penelope, just maybe a quick
Yeah.
comment.
Yeah, and actually, I just wanted to just reinforce what Larry said. You know, this is a complicated package, and there's lots of elements. And there's a yes concept, there's a no concept, but there's lots of recommendations about, yes, we like a lot of it, but we think you should focus or make a change about this. And so we just want to hear the comments, all of the comments, because we do have to respond to everything.
Right. So what, and we'll forward this on. If we have questions that we think should, or if anyone from the public has a question, we're going to forward that on to you also, and hopefully be able to provide the means to get back to people with the timely response. Yeah, no.
Can you make specific what means are in place, what mechanism is in place for all of us to feed our questions to the Cornell?
It's going to go through the board office. So you're going to email the board office. Just through that, it'll go to Anu Belatha. So that's really how we're going to do it. It's just going to go right through the board office. I can read off. We've got the email address on there. Nobody needs to see it, I don't think, on the board. So just send it to there, and then the board office will forward that on to you guys, and then we can, and then that's how we'll do it.
All the other board members, will they post them, so both the board members and the public can see what the comments?
Yeah, I'm going to talk to Anu and Latha tomorrow to find out how we can get all this posted on the site so people can see what the issues are. But try to figure out, maybe we come up with a special, just head it under our committee or something like that. Yeah, some kind of link or something. I don't know, we have to figure that out. But we got to move pretty quick, and we'll get that squared away.
We have this, on the board side, one that says Second Avenue Subway.
Right.
So, and all the questions and everything, all the information is under the Second Avenue.
All right, I'll talk to Latha tomorrow and see if we can work that out under this task force, and that would be the best way to do it, so everybody can pull it up and see it. So that's sort of our marching orders, right? So if you're going through the documents and you have either issues or questions, and then forward it through us, and then we'll try to get back. Any other questions from board members, committee members, before I adjourn this meeting?
Have there been changes to the application and to the text since it's been filed?
No, we didn't know that. That was the board office.
No changes since it's been filed?
So far, we've got the draft application, the original filing, so we could, if
For the original filing, there might have been a couple
you
of.
filed a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
So since it's been certified, like, any
No
changes
changes
to the
to
text?
certification, we did.
No, between filing and
first-
certification. Yeah.
There,
Changes to the
we
text?
filed twice, so there
So
were
we
some.
need to make sure that Latha, like she did, she posted the PDF of the filed application. I think she needs to post the PDF.
So we'll
Right.
coordinate.
All right. Right. Okay. All right, Larry, just follow up tomorrow with me on that, okay? Just so we make sure we do that, okay?
Okay.
All right, yes.
I just wanted to say something that nobody's really touched on from what I've heard, and that is, I've lived in a lot of different places, a lot of major cities, a lot of different towns in different countries, and when I moved to Roosevelt Island, I experienced something that I never had experienced before, and that is the community here. It is unlike any other community I've ever experienced. And there was a project here in Octagon, detect the animosity that still exists in a lot of the residents for the people, literally people who live in the Octagon. And it's an entire building full of people and families. And it's not everyone, but it is a very strong matter on this island still. And this project has been welcomed. We really want it. But there are going to be problems. I can't underline enough how important it is to make amends where there are mistakes made. If there's a truck at 6 a.m., I know deliveries come early. They come early. It's noise. It's going to be irritating people. Do something for this community to make up for these problems that are going to happen.
This project is going through a much more open process than Octagon went through. The thing that's fortunate about this project for the island is that this has to go through the city process. Octagon went through the REAC process, which over the years has been criticized as not being open, public, responsive. This project has to go through a process that requires them to be responsible.
Yeah, and that's our, also, from the community board standpoint, that's our commitment also. We're holding let me finish, please. We're holding every meeting here. Everything we say is a matter of public record, and we want people to come out and talk to us also. We want to find out what concerns are, and we hope that will help, because there's going to be problems, and we know that, right? So that's why we're trying to be as open as we can and facilitate that process. We should wrap up.
I just want to respond. On every project or every item that comes before the community board, there's a pro and con. You have people in the community, for people in the community against. I mean, when you say that the board should make amends because...
No, she's not saying that.
Well, that was the impression that I got.
No,
She's
not. She's not saying that at all.
Okay, I apologize, Jim. That's how
Okay. No, that's not what she said.
Okay.
Okay, is there any other questions before I adjourn the meeting? And catch 10 minutes of the debate. All right, the meeting is adjourned.